Welcome, Walnut. I'm Lara, but you can call me Les, your host for Walnut Wednesday. This is your reminder to be brave, be yourself, and know that you can make the world a better place just by what you decide today. Here, I'm going to share my weekly walnuttings with you on a Wednesday.
It is me, Les, here for another episode of Walnut Wednesday, and I'm so excited because I have one of my very best, delicious favourite friends in the whole wide world in real life with me, Stacey Fraser-Allen. Hello, welcome to Walnut Wednesday. We can look here.
Yeah, like, should I look there? Should I look here? I don't know.
Walnut, if you're not watching on the YouTubes, we are actually in real life sitting next to each other, so that's where this commentary is coming from. But if you're just listening along, enjoy yourself. So Stacey, you have created Brick and Mortar Creative. Do you want to just introduce yourself to the walnuts who are like, I don't know who you are?
Sure. Yeah, so I am an artist, and I've only been an artist for about a year and a half, something like that. I never drew at all, not really before then. And now, I have my own business, and I've been drawing in ink and watercolour for the last year and a half. I've had one solo exhibition. I've got a new one in 2 weeks' time that's just opening. And I draw buildings. That should probably be mentioned as well. So specialising in architecture around New Zealand specifically.
Yeah, and it started from like yourself loving the Wellington buildings, right? The architecture of Wellington itself, or did it start somewhere else?
Yeah, no, definitely. So I remember the day. I had just broken up, gone on the Christmas break that everyone gets over here for work, and I thought, okay, so I've got 2 or 3 weeks off. I'm going to do something. I do something new. I'm going to go over to the art shop. I'm going to go and get something and do something with it. Mm-hmm. So I thought, what's on sale? So watercolours were cheap, and they were on sale at the moment. So I thought, I'll get some of those and some ink fine liners. And I thought, that would be a nice medium, something I've always enjoyed, like those. I don't know if you know Quentin Blake, Roald Dahl.
Yes.
You know the kids' books?
Yes.
You know that the scribbly sort of ink and watercolor illustrations that he does. I've always really liked that medium. Thought I would give that a go. So I got all my stuff from the art shop, and I headed down the street. So I was walking down Cuba Street in Wellington, and I thought, oh God, I'm going to try something. And I looked at this one building, which I've always loved, and it's Hunters and Collectors on Cuba Street. And I thought, maybe I should try drawing that. I looked at it, and I kind of saw shapes in it that were easily, I thought maybe I could put that down on paper.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, okay, I'll do that. Go home. And then I walked from Cuba Street down to Guernsey Street, and then I passed another building called the Albemarle, which is the old wreck. It was a wreck at the time, covered in graffiti. And I thought, that maybe, take a photo of that. That's another thing. So I've got a couple of options. And then I took that home, and just got the pad out and gave it a go. And it wasn't complete shit. So I thought, that's all right. Yeah. And then I did another one. I thought, that wasn't complete shit either. So it's like, wow, yeah, okay, great. This is fun. This is I'm really enjoying it. And, like, awesome. And it was my husband, who is also an amazing creative. Say also, like I'm amazing.
Well, you are.
But and he said, you should do a few, see how you go. And that's really where it kind of started from. Yeah. The kind of catalyst, I guess, behind it was that during that time at the end of the year when we broke up, I kind of decided to set a little bit of an intention that went alongside that. And that was to not, well, it wasn't even like that affirming. It was kind of maybe sort of try not to give that much of a shit what people think.
Like a safety area kind of thing.
Yeah, just try. Because I kind of thought, at the time, maybe I had a little bit of a problem with, caring too much, like to the point where I wouldn't say what I thought about things. I literally had like no confidence.
Yeah.
Wasn't aware how bad it was at the time, but I decided to make this little decision, maybe try and not care. And that's where, with that and me starting the draw, it kind of came together into this thing that now, year and a half down the line is a full-blown business, which is crazy, really.
And I'm upset at Walnut. If you haven't, look it up on it, like pause what you're doing, look it up on the Instagrams and the Facebooks, like literally right now, because Stacey's art is like magical. Like it's like, what the hell? How do I actually, should we just backtrack Walnut? Stacey and I used to work together. Yeah. So our love story started at a corporate job that sucked our soul. But it bonded us at the same time. Soul-sucking bonding. So it's actually been such a lovely, we've managed to keep in touch, and it's been a lovely, like, watching you grow and watching you practice being a little walnut and be brave and stuff. And Brick and Water and Walnut Wednesday kind of like were a bit alongside each other throughout that time, right?
Yeah, no, you were ahead, and I was like, what the hell? Like lads up there kicking ass. I want to get up there.
So nice. And the most full circle thing, Walnut, is Stacey's next exhibition, which will be on when this podcast is out, is at Black Coffee, which is in our local stomping ground where we fell in love, where we met. And one of my favorite prints to date, which I have framed right behind me, which you can't see, but I have it here. I love it. I'm obsessed. So, Stacey, I would love you to talk through that not caring thing and where you're at now, and how did you practice? Because it takes courage to not care what people think. Like, I feel like there is sometimes not aspects of fake it till you make it, but there is this like, I don't care, but you still really care. So talk me through this not caring thing, where you're at, how it went.
Yeah, sure. Well, like I said, I mean, it really started as not so much of it wasn't really like a decision, it was just, maybe just don't, and see how it goes. And from that, it's kind of, well, to talk about Brick and Water. Okay, so I've got this thing that I really enjoy doing. That's not total shit. And like I thought, okay, where do I go from here? And then this little affirmation is like, put it online. And I'm like, like, ooh, really? Because then everyone will see it and talk about it and think things about it, and oh god, all the things, and that's terrifying. But it shouldn't be, like, it's so it kind of went hand in hand with that. And so when I started to, in everyday life, always say, okay, whenever I do anything, I don't really care what people say. It's like, like there's kind of like a door in front of you, and it opens just a smidge, with every single conversation you have with that little, I'm not going to really care if this is received really well or not, or if people are on my side or not. I'm just going to say it because that's what I think. And I recognized, as I did that more and more, how much of an ingrained problem I had. I mean, have you ever been to one of those, like, I don't know, you're sat in a circle, like maybe a class or something, right? And you're in this new class and you're about to learn some stuff or whatever, and the teacher says, right, okay, cool, we're just gonna go around the circle, and everyone is just gonna say your name and one thing about yourself.
Worst nightmare.
It's just a nightmare. Like,
why? We know.
It's such a nightmare.
The worst one is say something interesting about. What's interesting about that? You know, like.
But I went to this course recently, and it wasn't even that though. It was just go around and say your name, you know. And my heart, it was like I was having a heart attack. Why? You know, like it's so ingrained in you to just like, just to hide, And so as I went on more and more, I realized, God, this is sort of a problem, you know, and but it's okay, you know, and it's an ongoing learning experience. I'm not talking as someone who is crazy confident. Quite, I mean, like coming over to do this, you know, I'm like, oh my God, so good. It's never not gonna be, you know, you always have to do. It's just a tool that you have to deal with things, you know, like it, and to help yourself get through it. It's not always just gonna like go away. But yeah, just always acknowledging it and just facing it. As long as you do that, then you have control to make a decision on whether you want to get out there and do what you want to do and be heard or show your stuff or whatever. So you know, from day to day, I've just been continuing to try and always, just have that little affirmation behind it. It might not be terrible, and look where it goes. You know, like you start doing it, and then all of a sudden, all these doors start opening. You know, in different parts of your life, not just with being creative, but in my case, but for all sorts of different situations. You know, when you have conversations with your friends and with your partner, and those important relationships grow and become more open because you have the confidence in your own opinion now to get behind it.
I found also, like with Walnut Wednesday, it's definitely like I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I would say that I have been brave and tried to be courageous, and that does come through with conversations like with Geordie, where I actually have to back myself, you know. And it's an awkward thing to say, like, this is good, what I'm doing is good, and oh my God, and like to enjoy the celebrations with them and for them to celebrate you as well. I think it's like a big thing. But Stacey, I'd love for you to tell the Walnuts listening, where did the title for your company, or whatever you call it, come from?
So I just sat down and like I will rave on about him. My husband's the best, you know. He's just been like a total
we love you, Johnny.
cheerleader, you know, that this whole time. He's just wonderful. He's an incredibly creative person, to an obscene level. And he throughout this whole time he has just been pushing me to make it as good as it can be. And we came up with the name together because he's so good with that sort of stuff.
I can imagine.
We brainstormed it. So brick and mortar is obviously, you know, brick and mortar, like a brick and mortar building, but with watercolors. So brick and mortar.
I love it. It was so funny. Literally the other day, maybe like 2 weeks ago, Geordie was in the car and he was like, brick and mortar, and I was like, like, what's Stacey's business? I was like, what does that mean? And he was like, I don't actually know, but it's like something to do with the building. And I was like, that's like Stacey's pun of her business. And he was like, yeah. So talk me through, Stace, the feeling of your first exhibition and how it felt to, like, I feel like that was sort of like I'm going to take this really serious. Like, you had taken it seriously from the very beginning, especially like I remember I had booked like a commission with you way back when, and it was very professional. I was like, wow, I'm loving this. But I feel like the exhibition thing where you had to present yourself as the artist, I'd love to know like what kind of was going on with you at that point in time.
It took a lot of courage. Lots of bully demons, you know, little gremlins just telling you that you're just, you know, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You look ridiculous, you know, and this stuff isn't good and all of that. And just picking the little gremlin up, you know, and just putting him on a shelf over there. So, you know, he's there, you know, you can kind of see him, but he's not in front of you. And just throughout that whole experience, it was just every single day, just like that, pretty much. And just trying to look over there, you know, trying to get to like, I only really looked as far as like the opening night because of just the huge amount of prep and work that went into it. And that's the big fancy party thing that you do generally look forward to, even though it was a week and a half long. Yeah, so it was just about really trying to focus on that one point. I had this song. What was it? Oh yeah, it was this song because I put an exhibition playlist together. This was one particular song that when I listened to it, I was like, I just want to picture myself there, all these people that I know, and you know, customers as well. I hear they're looking at my art. People are hopefully buying things, you know, and I'm there, obviously looking fabulous, and this song is going to come on, and I'm going to think you did it, you know. So I kept listening to that song quite a lot. It was what was it? Borderlands by Tame Impala.
Borderlines by Tame Impala.
Yeah, that's the
I'll
song.
link it in the show notes because I don't know it at the top of my head. I probably will know it when I hear it.
Yeah. So I kept just kind of visualizing that the whole time. And we ended up getting to the opening night, and it's thanks to another amazing friend of ours, Jane Ray.
We love you, Jane.
Who was my she was forced to be my gallery manager in the night. She looked the part. Yeah. She completely took it on, and people bought lots of things, and it went so unbelievably well. I'm gonna yeah. And that happened, and then that was the opening night, and then I went into the gallery the next day because I had to do the next week, and then I was kind of like, you know, and I went, oh, this is the part where I sit here in the gallery every single day, and people come in and talk to me about my art, and I didn't really think about it or expect it, because it was all about the focus on the first night. So it kind of caught me a little bit off guard. And so the first day I was like, you know, when someone came in, I was like, hi, you know, yeah. But then, oh my God, it was just, it all just kind of, because of the passion behind the thing. When you do something that you just really love to do, it was easy. It was a bit too good, because I had a day job, and sitting in a gallery all day talking to people about your art is addictive. Hugely addictive, and I got a little sad afterwards, momentarily, but it's that was kind of the whole exhibition experience. Really, it was all just focus. I love being creative, but I love the business side of it just as much. I just love seeing something come together, putting the work in and paying off. That was the focus the whole time.
And you really do embody that too, Stacey. Like everything that you do, from like just the little touches, like the stickers, and how you wrap stuff. Like, I mean, Walnut, you know, how I sell t-shirts and then they just get plonked in the bag because I have lots of things on.
Oh,
and you manage to do everything.
And stuff.
I should. But yours looks very like, mine's very Walnutty, Walnut Wednesday-esque. It's a vibe. But yours is very professional and like, I don't know. I suppose that's the difference with actual physical art too, isn't it? Like, there's this not holy aspect, but like a really like put together thing that all your work like really has, like, and it's amazing watching it grow. I'm intrigued to know, Stacey, because when we were working together, you and I talked a lot about the imposter syndrome, and you've mentioned the bully demon and stuff already. I would love to know what you would suggest to an aspiring walnut whether they be an artist or whatever, but just someone who knows that they like are here to do something in the world, but they're just in their 9 to 5 cubicle, just thinking that things suck. In terms of the imposter syndrome, what advice would you like give?
Well, I guess I'll talk about the creative side of it really, because that was such a huge thing for me with the whole imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like all this, making a little decision to not care. The reason is because I didn't feel my whole life I was creative. Everyone is. We all are as humans. You haven't got a choice, like you just are. And if you're a lady, then you're extra creative.
Yeah.
And growing up, I did a lot of creative things, but I just didn't have that confidence, for this reason or that, because life happens. It just didn't really go that way. And I didn't feel like I deserved to call myself an artist. No way. Like that was for superheroes. That was for the special people.
Yeah.
Who were so talented. But art is expression. And we all do it. We all express ourselves, and we are all creative, and everyone has a right to say that they are creative, and anyone can be an artist. When you really start to get into it and start to look at the creative community, you see it. People just do these amazing mad things because it's an expression, and it's their right. So why can I have that too? That's kind of where it all came from. So yeah, I mean the creative community as well. They're not exactly like any other kind of industry. There's no like competition doesn't exist in the creative community really. There's space for everyone. And if you feel like you can't get past this wall, then just reach out to someone. I mean, maybe that's the first thing. Maybe that's the first little step. Just asking people for help. Someone who maybe you follow on social media, or someone that you might know. Just say, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Thinking back, I actually did that at the very beginning. I have this very talented friend called Jane, who is an amazing sculptor, because she's amazing at everything. Like, she's one of these people.
Bless you, Jane.
Yeah, bless you, Jane. I said to her, I was like, I have this right at the very beginning, I had this urge. I always felt this real, didn't deserve it, but this huge, like, almost ache to have a creative outlet. I really wanted it. Yeah. And so I asked her, I was like, I feel this real urge, and what can I do? How can I kind of harness this? I literally do not know where to start. There's so much you can do. And her response to that was, she is a sculptor, she's a painter, she's a model, she's a photographer, she's all things, and she's just completely self-taught. She's like, well, whenever I wanted to do something, you just pick it up. It's just dedication to something. Find something that you really enjoy doing, and just do it as much as possible, as you possibly can. So that's the amazing thing about the creative community, and we're just everyone is just so loving. I mean, I would not be where I am if I had not have asked the 50 questions to 50 different people out there on their opinion on this, or what about this, or what about that. And every one of them have been incredibly supportive, even though, they're up there with, 300,000 followers or whatever. They still have the time to answer your questions, and that's just so unbelievably valuable.
I love this example, Stacey, because I remember at university in theatre, and even like drama at high school to some degree, the people who were really, really good were like what's the word without sounding like a dickhead, Walnut, like prestigious. Like it was like this, you had to like hit this thing and then you were the cool kids of the drama group, essentially. And I remember like always feeling like, oh, I just do not fit here. I just do not fit here. And then like hearing examples like this, and thinking back as well, Walnut, if I had just said to someone, hey, I love how you acted in said play or whatever, tell me what you did, I can 100% guarantee that they would have been like, oh my God, Laz, come sit down, have a cup of coffee.
They would have loved to have talked
absolutely
about it.
And I still like am friends with a few of them to this day, and like we're still like friendly, but it was all in my head. It was all my bully demon, like comparing myself to not being as good at acting or good at script writing or filming or any of
it's
that.
It's almost like a projection, onto that person. They wouldn't talk to you because they think you're this, or it's all in your head. Like it's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing that example. And Walnut, I hope you've picked up a little bit of what Stacey's putting down. But if the Walnuts are like, oh my God, I'm obsessed, I want to learn more about you, where can they find you on the world?
In the world, on the World Wide Web. So I'm on Instagram, so at Brick and Mortar Creative, and Facebook. You can find me there or on my website at www.brickandmortarcreative.co.uk.
And it's all very lush, as Stacey would say, and gorgeous and beautifully curated, and everything looks really nice. And she does really fun reels, and I'm obsessed with her, and she's delicious. Before we wrap up, Stacey, and I asked you my token question, which I don't think I actually briefed you with, so I apologize in advance.
Oh, yeah.
But is there something on your heart that you feel like you haven't quite shared, or a little message to a walnut who thinks they're a peanut, or any last words?
Well, I guess the whole take home for me and the very starting point is, if you do feel like you don't deserve, you don't deserve to be the person that you want, I mean, do what I do with that. Just start with that one little tiny, just throw it away little sentence that you just keep repeating in your head. Maybe it's possible, or maybe, I shouldn't care what people think. Just start with that teeny tiny little decision, and you'll be really surprised at the doors that will open in front of you. I think that's probably the advice.
I love that. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Token question that I asked to all my podcast guests, which I do apologize I did not tell you about.
All the things. I don't know what's going on.
Stacey, what does being a walnut mean to you?
Well, I think being a walnut is definitely being brave. Making an affirmation and sticking to it, and just being totally true to yourself, and being a really good person as well. I think there's a lot of really good people in this community, so that's what being a walnut is.
I love that. Just be yourself. Be your beautiful, delicious self, Walnut. So amazing. Walnut, if you enjoyed this episode, take a little screeny shot, share, tag Stacey and I at Brick and Mortar Creative, at Walnut Wednesday, on your social medias. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, Stacey and I are more than happy to connect and answer anything that you have. Check out, if you are a local walnut in Wellington, Black Coffee in Newtown. When this episode is out, go there, get a scone. Very good scones.
7th of September. Yeah, 7th of September to the 4th of October. Black coffee.
You got it, Walnut. So you know where to find it. It's all on the onlines as well. I've in the past done like multiple brick and mortar giveaways as well when Stacey's done like limited edition prints and stuff. So keep an eye on the Walnut tree as well. And Stacey, thank you so much for being on my podcast. I love this chat so much, and I love that we're in person. And Walnut, if you're not watching, we've got a couple of little whinies. So Stacey and I are off to a delicious, romantical, wonderful dinner and to yap some more about our businesses because we are both bishers. So thank you, Stacey.
You're so welcome.
Sorry, that's what I was saying thank you. Thank you so much, and have a happy Walnut Wednesday, Walnut, and I will talk to you on the podcast next week.